You've decided you want to move to Mexico, but where specifically do you want to live? After this video, you'll have 5 reasons Querétaro is one of the best places to live in Mexico. You're going to want to make it your new home. For the best advice about moving to Mexico, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Thursday. Hi, I'm Alex, and on my blog, Backpacking Brunette, I've written numerous posts about living in Mexico. I've called Querétaro home since 2017, and today I'm sharing why it's one of the best places to live in Mexico. Reason number 1, safety. I'm guessing you're already a little familiar with Querétaro, but in case you're not, Querétaro is located pretty much dead center in Mexico. By bus, it's approximately 3 hours north of Mexico City. If you've seen pictures or footage of Querétaro, then you know it has a beautiful historic center. There are many colorful streets, lots of flowers, and well-preserved colonial architecture. Based on those images, you might think that Querétaro is a small town, but it's actually a very big city. More than 1 million people live here, and it is growing. In fact, Querétaro is one of the fastest growing cities in Latin America. It's big and it's getting bigger, but Querétaro is still one of the safest cities in Mexico. Querétaro is often referred to as the Orgullo de México, or the Pride of Mexico. And when you come here, it's easy to see why. In the nearly 3 years that I've called Querétaro home, I have never once felt unsafe. I haven't even felt uncomfortable. I live in the historic city center and I feel safe to walk the streets at night, to be out by myself. I regularly use Uber to get around, and I would also feel just fine hailing a cab off of the street. In addition to being very safe, Querétaro is very clean. There are street sweepers out every single day in the city center, and our trash is picked up 6 nights a week. People are proud to live in Querétaro, and they take great pains to take care of this city and make sure that it is a beautiful place for everyone to live. Reason number 2, affordable cost of living. Prior to moving to Mexico, I lived in Madrid, Spain, and thought that that was an affordable place to live. But living in Mexico is just a whole other level of affordability. Querétaro is by no means the cheapest place to live in Mexico, but it is still very cost effective to call Querétaro home. I have written numerous posts on my blog about the cost of living in Querétaro, and one of my most popular posts to date details my weekly and monthly and yearly living expenses here, including rent, groceries, and health insurance. I will go ahead and link that post in the description below. But just to give you an idea about the cost of living in Querétaro, our rent for this house in the historic city center, where I live with my boyfriend, we have 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a huge dining room, an office/workout space, an interior patio. This house costs 10,800 pesos per month, which at the current conversion comes out to around $483 USD. Reason number 3, not an expat hotspot. If you're interested in the typical expat retiree experience abroad, where you live in a community with lots of other people from your home country, then Querétaro probably isn't the city for you. While there are clusters of expats, clusters of retirees in the city, I know that the Juriquilla area is popular for that. While there are clusters in Querétaro, it's not a major expat community like San Miguel de Allende or Lake Chapala. That's not to say that there aren't a lot of foreigners living here. Because of Querétaro's central location in the country, this is a huge city for industry, and there are a lot of international companies like Samsung, Kellogg, Gerber, Goodyear. That's seriously just naming a few. So there are a lot of foreigners here, but they are working. They are not retired. And for the most part, they are integrated into the community here. After living in Madrid, which is a huge tourist destination, a huge expat city, it's been a really nice change of pace to settle into life in Querétaro, where I really feel like I'm a part of the community. I shop at the markets, I drink at the same watering holes as locals. Again, I just really feel like I'm a part of things here. Along these same lines, living in Querétaro has been amazing for my Spanish. Now, there are English speakers here, but I am using my Spanish on a much more regular basis every day for absolutely everything compared to when I was living in Madrid, and it was really hard to practice my Spanish anywhere. Between shopping at the market, speaking Spanish, and just feeling at home in the city, this is really the experience that I envisioned for myself when I decided to move to Mexico. Of course, there are challenges about living in a city that is not set up to cater to foreigners. For example, when I was apartment hunting, some landlords were hesitant to rent to me just because they had never rented to an American before. If you're anxious or nervous about apartment hunting in Mexico, then head to the comments and give me a yes so I know that we are on the same page. To help make apartment hunting a little bit easier, I put together the Move to Mexico Quick Start Guide. Head to the link in the description to grab this completely free resource. It has answers to my most frequently asked questions about living in Mexico, my top 8 tips for apartment hunting, and even a renting in Spanish cheat sheet to help you out. Reason number 4, a university atmosphere. Traditionally speaking, Querétaro, Mexico in general, I guess, is a very conservative, very Catholic city. If that's not your vibe though, don't worry, because with so many universities within the city limits, there are a lot of students living in Querétaro, and they give a really progressive, young vibe to the city. It seems like every other week here, a new cafe or a hipster cocktail bar is cropping up somewhere. There's a really awesome craft brewery called Cervecería Hércules that makes amazing craft beer and has a super cool garden outdoor sitting area in an old textile factory. Beyond eating and drinking, there is so much to do in Querétaro. Lots and lots of cultural events, concerts. Prior to COVID-19, there was something going on here every single weekend. On a similar note, I'm not sure if this is just the people I know or if this speaks to the city as a whole, but from Querétaro, I get the vibe that it is a very creative city. There are a lot of artists, there are a lot of entrepreneurs, people following their passions and following their dreams and building a life that they want for themselves. And I find that such an energizing kind of thing to be around. Reason number 5, centrally located. When I decided to move to Mexico, I knew that I wanted to travel. I knew that I wanted to explore the country, to see as much of it as I possibly could. So it was very important to me to live in a central location where it was easy to get around to different places. And Querétaro totally fits the bill. If you are interested in traveling in Mexico, it's tough to be in a better spot than Querétaro because, like I mentioned earlier, it is pretty much dead center in the middle of the country. I really like the proximity to Mexico City. It's about 3 hours north of Mexico City by bus. And that's really nice, one, for flying back to the United States, because generally the cheapest flights are out of Mexico City, and I can hop on a bus here in Querétaro that will take me right to the Mexico City airport, right to my terminal. And two, because Mexico City is awesome, and the longer I live in Mexico and the more often that I visit, I fall more in love with Mexico City. So it's really nice to be able to go there for a weekend and not have it be too far away. Now, I know some people, Americans especially, are pretty adverse to this, but I absolutely love traveling by bus, and the bus station here can take you pretty much anywhere you want in Mexico. And it's really comfortable and really affordable. If traveling by bus really isn't your thing, then no worries. There's also a small airport here with flights all over the country. It's about a half hour outside of the city center. Now you know why Querétaro is one of the best places to live in Mexico, but what about actually moving here? Head to the link in the description to grab the completely free Move to Mexico Quick Start Guide. You are not going to want to miss my top 8 tips for apartment hunting in Mexico. Plus, that renting in Spanish cheat sheet is really going to come in handy. Feel free to leave any questions that you have about living in Mexico or specifically living in Querétaro in the comments below. I'm Alex from backpackingbrunette.com. Thanks for watching. Check out these videos next for even more advice about moving to Mexico. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to know why Querétaro is one of the best places to live in Mexico.